All right, so hello everyone, Doug here with the LincolnList.com. Let me give you the official cheers and welcome to Happy Hour with the Lincoln. This is where I will do my very best to answer all of your stock market related questions, tell tales about this stock market we love so much, and educate you along the way. As always, if you guys need help with your personal trading, I'm going to post the link right there on the screen. It will direct you to our live trade room. Each and every one of you are welcome to join us each day in that trade room and trade right along with us. And also don't forget that Monday starts the Premier Course Mini Camp. This is our live training course, our personal mentoring course. So for some of you that want to make trading a profession, you want to be consistently profitable, go ahead and check the link out there on the screen. Now, I got a pretty good topic today, therefore I'm going to need the ceremonial swig. And that is, why do poor people make such great traders? I got this question that came in my inbox the other day, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Therefore, I chose this as the topic because I think it's pretty good, and it may relate to each and every one of you in some way or the other. Let's say that. So here's the question. Doug, I am new to trading, and I have been watching as many of your videos as I can. I don't have much of a financial background, and I don't have very much money to start with. Is this something I can actually succeed at, even if I am poor right now? How much money do traders normally start out with? Any help is appreciated. Well, first, let me say it doesn't really matter what your circumstances are. If you're somebody who is 85 years old, or maybe you're just some young teenager living at home, creep stalking late at night at 2 a.m. on the internet, and you bump across this video, it never hurts to educate yourself about the stock market, to educate yourself about finances, regardless of how much money you have. Because even if you're flat broke, or even if you're just a young kid that's in school, at some point in your life, you're going to run into money. Either you're going to get some inheritance, or you're going to save up some money, or there may be a point in time where you do get some money and you're going to want to know what to do with it. You want to make the right types of business and financial decisions with the money that you have, if you have any surplus. So it never hurts to educate yourself about the stock market and educate yourself financially. Now, we've kind of talked about this a few times as to how much money does a trader need. Well, obviously, the more money you can get, the better. But I think every trader would have to, if you're going to do day trading, you need to be somewhere around the $30,000 mark. Anything under that, you're pretty much going to be forced into swing trading, which is okay. You could profit that way, but it's going to be, well, number one, you can't day trade if you have under $25,000. But even if you were just slightly above that, it's still a little bit difficult to get started because it's easy for your account to draw down underneath of that $25,000. So a little complex there, but it kind of decides what direction you're going to take as your trader. Regardless, it doesn't matter how much money you have. You can start trading. Now, the question here that really stood out to me was the poor comment. I'm poor right now. Sort of maybe using that as somewhat of an excuse, as if a poor person doesn't deserve to be in the stock market, or that a poor person isn't privy to the types of education and the types of tools and resources that it's necessary to be successful. Now, I disagree with that because out of all of these years, I've now been running the Lincoln List for almost a decade here. I've trained a lot of people. I trained people before that. I've met a lot of traders. And the strange thing is that the majority of traders that I have met that have been very successful have started out poor. They've started out with no financial background. And I think there's a reason for this. And even when I was in the insurance business and I was doing sales then, it seemed like the poor did a lot better than the rich. And I think there's something there. I'm not saying this is in every case, but I'm going to say if you're looking at the group as a whole between them, I think the quote was somewhat in Wall Street, the original Wall Street movie, where it was, you give me the poor and the hungry. I'll take that any day. And that's kind of what I was looking for back then when I was in the insurance business.
I've been in this business since '69. Well, these Harvard MBA types, they don't add up to dog shit. Give me guys who are poor, smart, hungry, and no feelings. You win a few, you lose a few, but you keep on fighting. And if you need a friend, get a dog.
And the same thing that pays dividends now for traders is you give me the poor, you give me the hungry. That's the kind of person that's cut out for success. So I thought about it because I have been poor myself many, many years before I got out on my own and started doing my own entrepreneuring kind of stuff and trading. So I was thinking, why is it like that? Well, there's a few reasons. I think poor people understand that nothing is given to me. And again, I'm not singling out rich people here that come from privileged families. I'm not saying that every person that's watching this video is like that. Don't get me wrong. We're talking about the groups as a whole, and we're mostly focusing on poor people who sometimes feel like maybe they're not adequate enough, or they don't have an education or didn't go to college, so they're not cut out to be a trader. And that has very little to do with it, because back to what I was saying is they understand that nothing is given to them. They've never had anything given to them. Like when I grew up, when I turned 16, about 3/4 of my high school got a car. The kids got a car as a graduation present. I didn't. So, I was one of those people, I didn't get a car. My family didn't go on lavish vacations, so I didn't have to sit around there. Thank God there wasn't like Twitter and Facebook back then in the 80s. But they'd go on these lavish vacations to Europe and flip through like 700 photos. They'd keep like this album and walk around and shove it in your face. It was like the old time social media, like right there in your face. I didn't have that to brag about. So it kind of rubbed it in like, oh yeah, I'd love to go to Italy. I'd love to go to Japan. Must have been nice on your summer, right? So that nothing's given to you. You never really had maybe you had the necessities in life, but not the luxuries in life. So you know that. And because of that, poor people aren't afraid of hard work. When I say hard work, they're not afraid. They kind of understand what it means to work, meaning that you have to sacrifice something, that there is pain in reward. A lot of really privileged people have had things given to them. And when you have things given to you, again, if you have, that's fine, but not everybody's that way, but a lot of them, that when you give them something, they distort what money really means, right? They don't understand what the value of a dollar is. It's hard to tell a billionaire's children that this is how the other half live. This is how middle class live. This is how the poor people live. They have to drive in traffic every day to get to work. They have to put up with a boss's bullshit. They have to sit here and work and sell their souls sometimes to make a living. They don't understand that, because anytime that they start a business or start an endeavor, they don't have this sense of urgency that, hey, this has to work, So like when I started my motorcycle business, which I talk about all the time, and even when I started trading, I didn't have a whole lot of funds either. But I wouldn't have worried about turning a profit in my motorcycle store or being successful as an insurance agent or being successful as a trader if my pops was a billionaire, if he was rich, because I'd say, well, if I just bomb out or suck ass, dad's going to take care of me. Or when he kicks the bucket, I'm going to get his billions. Or he buys me a house that I can live in with my wife and kids and whatever. I don't have any kids or wife, but I think you know what I'm talking about. They realize that you got to work, you've got to sacrifice, you have to give up. You have to go through some sort of pain in order to have reward. And maybe this ultra elite, really rich people and stuff like that, they don't have that sense of urgency. Like when I lost my bike store that time and I got a loan to start trading again, the buck stopped right there. I mean, I could sit there and complain about the market. I could make all the excuses I wanted to in the world, but I realized it was simple. If I didn't make it, I was done. I was like done. Like I was done as I might have to move back in with my parents, who are not billionaires, in their basement as a mid 30-year-old man. I don't want to do that. So it's like you realize it's that much of an urgency. And poor people are used to dealing with adversity for that same very reason. You're used to plan A never freaking working, right? Plan A never ever works. Plan B might work half of the time. The rest of it is fighting your way through it. And I think when we're looking at different groups of people, anybody can succeed. I say this in the webinars when I talk about the market. It is the most purest form of a business that is possible. It is, because it does not discriminate based on your education, your race, your religion, your political beliefs. It doesn't make a difference, because when you make a trade, the market doesn't know where it came from. They don't know who it is sitting behind that computer. So all that matters is the education in the fingertips of that person who clicks the mouse or hits the hotkey. That right there is all that matters when it comes down to it. That's it. And it doesn't matter if you went to Yale or you didn't even go to school at all, or you were born in a third world country that had dirt floors. It doesn't matter. Now, maybe the amount of money that you have keeps you around a little bit longer, makes it easier. I won't deny that. But if you have the willpower and you can put a few bucks together, you might not be able to be a professional trader that does this for a living in the beginning, but you can make some pretty good money. You can at least do better for yourself and make more than the standard 2 to 3% cheesy bank return, if they even give that to you right now. And you're educating yourself along the way that as those balances build up in your account and as you obtain more wealth throughout your life, you'll be able to invest that wisely. And at some point, you'll turn a corner just as I did. It took several years before I was really, really comfortable and had built up enough balances to where I felt like, okay, I could relax a little bit and do some different things with my trading. You'll eventually get to a point like that. So all in all, I just want you to know it doesn't matter how old you are, or what part of the world that you were born into, or what your circumstances are now, or how much money that you have. You can do it. You can do it. Again, it might be a longer road than the spoon-fed, but you still can do it. And that's the route you have to take. Unless you win the lottery or somebody gives you a large inheritance, that's the route you've got to take. That's the route I had to take. That's the route that 90% of the traders, when I think about 90% of the traders that I deal with, they all have that similar background. They're just average people from middle class or lower families who put some money together, busted their ass, clawed their way step by step, and figured out how to make a living. And that's all we are. The rich people make stupid bets and get blown up, work at hedge funds and go out of business and retire on their family's money or something. Hell, I don't know what they do, but you can do it. And that's all that's important. So anyway, I'm going to stop right there because I've done enough ranting. Don't worry about it, guys. Don't worry about your starting point. All that matters is where you finish. If you want to do it, you'll find a way to get it done. Until next happy hour, we're closely approaching 100. Closely approaching 100. Until next time, take care, trade well, and cheers.